So he's cleaning his weapon now. What happened before? We're going to show you. This is Crime Watch.
With the DOB of 121589 and 97, they don't want you asking for her. But if she is inside, to let them know, and I have a cell phone.
Hello and welcome to Crime Watch. I'm Jane Cameron with Sergeant Chris Nunez of the Buena Park Police Department. You know, Sergeant Nunez, it looks like there's a lot of activity behind us. What's going on?
There was a call that a man showed up here at the Starbucks and sat down at a table outside here in front of the store, and then the customers and workers in the Starbucks realized that he was either asleep or maybe ill, and his pants were pulled down around his ankles. So someone thought it would probably be a good idea to call the police.
Okay, so it looks like there's more than just the police here. There's the fire department, an ambulance. So is it usually that somebody who's got an indecent exposure type of situation, it elevates to this?
Well, no, not normally, but in this particular case, when the officers arrived, they were not able to awaken this man. So even though they could smell an odor of alcohol, it's always possible that there might be something else wrong with him. It's possibly could be a diabetic, or who knows what. So just to err on the side of caution, the officers decided to call paramedics to check him out medically, so that we can render any medical aid if it's necessary, and then the original reason as to why we came will still be dealt with, probably except for in the emergency room in this case.
So what happens when you have somebody who has to go to the hospital, but they're also going to be arrested or whatever? How does it work? Of course they have to have the medical attention first, right?
Yes, they do have to have the medical attention first. That takes precedent. So the officers will follow the ambulance back to the emergency room, and the emergency room will do their work to make sure that this man is not in any danger, and he's going to be fine. And more than likely in this case, he may be receiving a citation from the officer, for exposing himself here. He was also quite drunk enough to be unconscious, essentially, and so from there, everything will get documented and handed off to the district attorney's office, and they can decide if they want to file charges.
One in Brea for a bunch of commercial burglaries and Costa Mesa. And then we have to shoot the training stuff. Control shoots. Because we got a million boxes of the training now. Well, I guess up until a couple weeks ago, we had a $180,000 domestic violence warrant.
Yeah.
And then Santa Ana, somebody took her in on that. And then Santa Ana, I think we took her for commercial burglary Saturday, and then released her.
So now we're bringing you into an area that our viewers have not seen for a long time, and it's the Buena Park Police Department's shooting range. How unusual is it for a police department to have a facility like this?
It is very unusual. They're quite expensive to build. There are a lot of special requirements when it comes to having an indoor range. There are other police departments that have them, but they're few and far between. I know the officers just walked behind us. This is the next round of guys that are getting ready to go through our monthly qualification course, so we should probably put our eye and ear protection on, and we'll get back to this in a second.
We'll be right back. Explain to me what the officers are doing right now.
Well, there are two officers on the firing line who are actually going through the qualification, and the third officer in the middle is the range master, and he's the one who has ultimate responsibility, control on the range. It explains what the fire is. And
I have to ask you, usually you see people at a range and they're way at the back behind us. These officers are so much closer. Why? It's only like maybe 6 feet.
yeah, that's actually a 5-yard line where they're shooting from. And we do train from all distances. Our range is a full 25 yards in length from the barricades to the targets at their.
You mentioned the officers have to do this on a monthly basis?
Yes, we qualify monthly, and different police departments have different policy, but our administration, our chief is a very strong supporter of keeping our officers honed in tactics and shooting. Shooting is a paramount skill, and so monthly practice is a great idea.
Why do you think it's so important for the officers to qualify?
Well, just maintaining that skill set, as I mentioned, for a lot of our viewers, I know handgun ownership or firearms ownership and shooting as a sport is very popular. So for those folks that understand that, they know that practicing, as in any sport, is very important. So for us, it's also a component of our work. There are times that we may have to resort to using our firearms as a tool, as a weapon, and being an expert and well trained in the application of a firearm is extremely important.
You mentioned this facility is so expensive. How did the Buena Park Police Department have the ability to have a facility like this?
That goes back many years. The city did a really good job of the city did a really good job of saving money back a few years ago when redevelopment money was still available, which has now been done away with through the state. The governor's changed the rules. So a combination of funding sources was brought to bear to not only build the range, but the brand new police station as well.
I find it very interesting because it's so convenient. You have your swing shift coming on staff or your night shift, and because there's enough officers in the field, you are able to have the officers come in and qualify. If this range was not in your city, there would be so much more in overtime and travel time and everything else.
That's exactly right. It's a little after 9 p.m. The guys that you're actually watching qualifying right now are our nighttime graveyard crew that are just starting their shift. So the swing shift crew are out there handling calls for service, and even though these guys are on duty right now, they can get this monthly qualification over with because we do have the range right here in our back parking lot. And just in terms of the convenience, I'll mention that we do, through contract, have an agreement with the CHP, with Huntington Beach Police, and others. I know we've had talks with La Palma Police to actually contract time on our range because there are features in our range that actually provide for some unique training that you don't get the opportunity to practice at other firing ranges that are that might be out there and run by civilian entities.
Looks like we've got a couple more officers that are ready to shoot, so I don't want to hold them up. They've got to practice, right?
That's right.
So evidently it's not just about shooting the weapons, but then there's something that you have to do afterwards.
Sure. Whenever you use a firearm, they get dirty. So in order for that handgun to function properly, you want to make sure that after you qualify in the range, after you shoot the weapon, that you... Well, let me turn the radio down. After you shoot the weapon, then you want to make sure that it's clean before you go back into service.
Why is that?
Well, first of all, you inspect it to make sure that that nothing is broken. There are no parts that are broken or cracked or missing, and so on. And debris, buildup of lead and gunpowder in the weapon all those things, or a combination of those things, can cause malfunctions. And certainly that would be a really bad thing.
So it's not that easy of a process to have to clean the gun, but it's an important thing to do.
It's actually reasonably easy. It can be a little bit messy, as you can see, but this is a Glock. Well, let me introduce the officer. This is Officer Ryan Hurst. He's one of our range masters. He's also a SWAT team member, and he carries. Ryan, why don't you tell us what type of handgun you're carrying?
I carry a Glock .40 caliber. And basically what it is, it's a semi-automatic handgun. Pretty common for law enforcement officers to be carrying. My weapon here has a light and laser attachment on there, so that in low light situations or no light situations, I'm able to illuminate the area and be able to find out, look for the bad guys, that kind of thing. It also has a laser selector switch on there, so that it can give me a general area of where I'm aiming the weapon. It's not like in the movies where they actually have a laser on a weapon to take that precise headshot from a million miles away type thing. It's basically so that I know as well as I should the direction that I'm aiming in and whatnot.
One thing I noticed that was off camera before you started this is that you made sure your gun was empty in a device behind us.
Yes, range safety is very, very important. Obviously, we go through hours upon hours of schooling and training and whatnot, and we hear the horror stories of agencies and other officers who have gotten hurt or even gotten killed because they didn't take the time to make their weapons safe, or the range master didn't enforce the range safety rules that the range has. So range safety is very, very important, and obviously making sure your weapon is clear, meaning there's no rounds in the chamber and it can't be fired, is very, very important.
Talking about weapons, I know it can be a huge topic, but for people that do have guns at home, what's the best way for them to have them at their house?
It's all personal preference. Luckily in America, we still have the right to be able to carry our own weapons, and well, not carry, but at least own and protect yourself and your family and whatnot with your personal belongings and residences. But it's really, like I said, personal preference on how you keep it in the residence, but you do need to keep it, according to laws and, so that nobody gets hurt inside the residence. Keep it safe from children. Either keep it locked in a safe, keep the weapon and ammunition separated, keep a gun lock on the weapon, that kind of stuff. If you do keep it loaded or you keep it, accessible, then it's accessible to everybody in the home, and you're basically putting yourself out there. If somebody does get hurt or a child does get hurt, then you can be arrested for it. So it's very important to take gun ownership very, very seriously and keep it safe in accordance to to the laws.
Sergeant Nunez, I know that it's got to apply to the officers too, because they're taking all their uniforms or everything home, and so they've got to have the safety at home as well.
Right. The laws that Ryan are talking about apply to everyone, including law enforcement. I own a gun safe. A lot of people I know own gun safes. People who are firearms enthusiasts know exactly what I'm talking about. So there's that balance, that fine line between keeping a firearm accessible for home protection versus safe and secured at all times, so that a child or someone that should not have access to a firearm can get to it and use it, whether it's an accident or intentional.
An officer has so many tools, and I know they're probably all important, but rightly so. It seems like your weapon is one of those things that you have to depend upon.
Sure, and kind of brings us right back to this phase of the training tonight, where he's cleaning his handgun. It's like anything else. It's like maintaining your car, or your lawnmower. So there's regular maintenance that should be done, and periodically, they do need to be checked and inspected for
Issues.
But yeah, any variety of issues. Broken pieces, missing pieces in some cases. Debris. Like I said, any combination of those things can cause a firearm to malfunction, because it's a piece of equipment, it has moving parts, It's, it operates based on engineering and so on, just like any automobile. So, if you fail to maintain your car, it's just a matter of time before it's going to quit on you. And same holds true to this piece of gear.
But this actually can save an officer or someone else's life, just making sure it works properly.
Exactly. It's not. If circumstances are such that you have to actually use a firearm as one of the tools of the trade, then it's a serious situation, and you want to make sure that it's going to function properly.
If you have any questions about today's show, you can call the Buena Park Police Department at 562-3901, and we're always on the internet at bppd.com. With Sergeant Chris Nunez of the Buena Park Police Department, I'm Jane Cameron. Thanks for watching.
Be sure to like us on the official City of Buena Park Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. There you'll find a little of everything from information about our city services and upcoming events to discounts offered by our entertainment attractions such as Knott's Berry Farm, Medieval Times, and Pirates Dinner Adventure.